Cathy and Gordon Illg, welcome to Live Photo.
Thank you.
It's nice to be here.
When did photography really spark in you?
I decided to go with wildlife biology, and that's what my degree is in, and that kind of turned our focus more towards wildlife. The only thing we photograph from inside is if it gets really cold at our house, we have old windows and we get really great frost on the inside of the windows. So we can photograph those in our pajamas with hot chocolate and stuff. So.
And that's actually been published too. So frost pictures.
Oh,
from
the frost, not you in your pajamas with the hot chocolate.
Nobody wants to see that. Our first attempts at it were more outdoor recreation than scenic. In fact, when we decided it was possible to make a living at this, we thought we're much more likely to sell pictures with people in them.
Right.
And so we hardly ever took a scenic shot without a person in it. And those were our first published photos. In fact, Cathy's on the cover of about half a dozen books.
What about you, Cathy? When did photography really spark in you?
I don't know. I always took snapshots with my little camera, and it was something I was interested in. And really, probably it was more when I met him.
When did it become something where you said, this is really going to be the trajectory of my life?
When I first figured out that it was possible to make a living doing this, it was probably in the 80s, and I was around 30 years old or so when we first started trying. We weren't very good photographers then at all. I mean, in fact, I think my first submission to Arizona Highways, I think, was Instamatic pictures. So they didn't accept them.
But you went for it anyway.
I went for it anyways. It wasn't until 2000 that we were able to turn it into a career.
Tell me the story of where you were one time. I know there are many, but pick one time when you thought, man, I am really alive right now.
There was a time in Costa Rica just photographing birds, and one of them crashed into the window of the lodge, and just being able, the bird was still alive. I was able to reach down and hold it in my hands and go set it in a tree, but just walking around with the bird in my hands.
A beautiful little yellow, what was it?
It was a silver nape tanager, I think, or something with an exotic name like that.
And then we put him in the tree, and he was okay.
Does that spark any thoughts for you, Cathy, in terms of a time when you were in the field with your camera and you just thought, I'm so alive right now?
Most of the time I would say it's when I'm with wildlife, but we did, a couple years ago, we went out to see Kilauea erupting.
Wow.
And we got a couple of local photographers there that were guides and had access. And we hiked out in the middle of the night over all this really sharp old lava.
Right, super sharp.
To get there at sunrise. And you could see, after we walked for, I don't know, an hour, I guess, you could finally see the little run, you know, the lava running down. I mean, we were able to walk right up to, and over seams in the ground. That was, it was hot. You could hear it hissing. You could see it running.
What has happened in your relationship together over the last few decades because of outdoor photography?
Well, since 2000, we've pretty much been together 24/7. We're
15 years.
Yeah, so for 15 years now. And people ask us, how can you stand to be with your wife every day, constantly? And it hasn't been that hard. In fact, that's one of the reasons we started doing this, is so we could work together and be together all the time.
What are some of your favorite places together on Earth?
Costa Rica has always been one of my favorites. The photography is not always easy there because the light's low, it's the rainforest, but it's just so much life. The variety of birds and reptiles and the flowers and the insects and everything is just incredible. I really do love it there. Any place where the wildlife is really tame.
Probably my recent favorite is the Falklands, and I just love being able, you could just be right there with the penguins, and if you move slowly, you can be right next to them, and you're like part of the colony.
Amazing.
It's just so cool, you know. And here comes the skuas coming down to dive on you, and everybody's screaming at each other and fighting, and There's fat little babies laying everywhere, and so that's become my new favorite.
How has photography awakened you to the experience of being alive?
We're seeing things that we would not have seen without the cameras. I mean, we're waiting for the animals to do something. We're going out at odd times of the day that normal people don't do. We were on a young bear one day that was walking towards us, and from the other direction, a pair of sandhill cranes were coming.
It was really foggy, so we couldn't see anything else.
So it looked like the bears and the cranes were going to collide, and of course the cranes stepped wide when they got close around the bear, and then they just started dancing. I went into a courtship dance for no reason, and the bear stopped and watched them the whole time.
Oh.
And or at least it looked like that's what he was doing.
Well, you have no, I mean, you can't just really ascribe human thoughts and emotions to the bear, but it sure looked like he was just enjoying the dance.
But the one I would pick has been one of our more famous pictures, I guess, and that's a backlit mule deer buck it's got in velvet, and it's got the rim lighting all around it, and that was our first tail on a Frontier Airlines jet.
What would you share with somebody who's just getting started in the pursuit of outdoor photography?
Use your imagination. I mean, so many people get stuck doing the same old things that the people before them have done.
Yeah, I would say creativity, because with digital now you can do almost anything. It's amazing. We have people, when they come on our tours, we always ask people to bring pictures. So if they want them critiqued, we'll critique them. If they just want to show, what they like, what they've done, what's in their backyard, whatever they want. And we always tell, of course, there's always opinions on, well, you could do this, you could do that, blah, blah, blah. And we always say, you know what, judges, they have all their own biases. Don't ever like or not like a picture because of a judge.
Or an instructor.
Or anybody. If you like the picture, that's good enough.
Yeah.
That brings it back to the joy of why they got into it in the first place, right?
That's right.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Photo.
Thanks, Paul. We're honored to be included in this.